Alrighty, I figured I'd do a quick garden update with what's going on right now. So I'll go back over here real quick. This actually right here was my fruit tree from last year, and it didn't survive. It was a apricot tree and it just died. So last year it was dry, it was hard to keep alive. So over here I've got just a whole bunch of tomato plants, a bunch of pepper plants, some marigolds. There are some broccolis and bok choy and serranos and orange bell peppers, cubanelle, and a few other things. So I'm still filling in the blanks and have a lot of extras. I'm about to head over, or well, start shredding this up and adding it to mulch. I'm a little behind on that, but I'm just kind of letting everything sprout in the garden, and then I'm gonna try to pick out the weeds, but I'll just run this over with a lawnmower. It's the mushroom compost blocks and leaves. Over here I have my hops. They're actually doing really good. I think I need to pare these back, but they're kind of spreading in every direction, but they're all gonna go start climbing this fence. And so I just need to water them, and they are moving very fast. If I like track this by the day, like these would probably be growing like 3 or 4 inches, I bet. So I'll have to kind of watch that, but I'll spread these around. I just need to rip up the leaves out of here. Over here is my pepper section. I still have a few things left to plant. I have some serranos, a habanero, and a couple others. There's some tomatillos right here. I need to go through and pick all the weeds. But this section's not bad since I throw down newspaper and cover up all the grass, then throw down mulch. And that's from last year, so most of it's in pretty good shape, but there is a bunch of grass I need to pick up. This section has been kind of my herbs, but I'm also throwing in a few other things. There's bok choy, there's dill, thyme, sage, parsley, kale, coriander. I think that's a carrot, but that could be a weed. There's celery, there's a bunch of lettuce. There's a few other things over here. There is another cilantro plant that looks really good. Thyme, my thyme box is almost full. Green onions from the store, so these are just some fresh chives. There's some catnip. Mint, these are buckets of potatoes. I have a whole bunch of asparagus growing. This right here is all basically one plant. The base of this one is the biggest by far of all my plants. This is like a new one. It's barely like the size, not even the size of a pencil. Same thing with this. I don't cut these at all. This one in the corner is a pretty good one. I've let one of the spears grow. Eventually the spears grow up and just look like this, and that's what happens when you want to let them grow out. But right now I'm adding all sorts of new asparagus over here. Here's a cilantro. Here's 2 lettuce plants. This is all catnip. Last year they got attacked by some bug and I had to rip up most of it, but still I got a few runners, and those guys survived no problems. There's a giant asparagus. I mean, it's bigger, almost as big as my finger. There's a bunch of asparagus plants over here. There's another one right there that's a foot tall. I need to go through and pick all the weeds out of here. That's going to be my main activity for a while. My strawberry plants are kicking into gear. Here's one right here. Some animal got one of them. Yeah, over here, let's see. I have garlic. Most of this is garlic, so I'm just gonna let these go, see how they do. Here are onions. Everywhere throughout the garden, I'm seeing tomatillos. Like literally everywhere, 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 everywhere. Everywhere, 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 everywhere. Tomatillos are everywhere. They're prolific. It's hard to even begin to describe how prolific they are. But over here, where are my watermelon plants? I only see like 1 of 2 watermelon plants. I threw in a few dozen seeds, but I'm not seeing many watermelons. So I do want to throw in some more watermelon plants. There should be some cucumber varieties right here. So this is cucumber, that's cucumber. I need to put this fence up. There's another cucumber or cantaloupe cucumber. Everything's gonna just be fighting for space eventually. So like, I like throwing down, basically like I'm stepping on just a bunch of plants, but there's so many that it's just like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna transplant a bunch of these and be like, who needs tomatillo plants? Because they're everywhere and everywhere. So and then over here is potatoes. I guess I stopped right here on the potatoes. I forgot if I was going to fill it up all the way. I might throw in my ginger right here, I guess. See how those do right here. This is what I'm going to try to do to all the rows. Just put down newspaper and this shredded mulch, and then fill in all the rows. but I just have to pick out so many tomatillo plants and weeds. So there's some other stuff too. I see like over here is a beet. It looks like the red stem. That's usually beet. And those are just randomly growing, but I threw out the seeds for them. But they are kind of in the pathway, so we'll see how I transpire. But like these were meant to be like unplanted, these 2 rows, but I mean I could let tomatillos go, but this is just too many anyways. So anyways, like back to over here, we're at the squash section. There's definitely a few squash. There should be cantaloupes over here. So I'm seeing what's like planted, but it's time to rip up a bunch of weeds. So everything has had the chance to grow, and now it's time to finalize who gets to stay. But otherwise, the tomato section is doing really good. There's 50 tomato plants. These 2 rows are basically like store-bought plants, and then over here is all my seeds. So we'll see how things are. I mean, everything's looking pretty good. I'm not seeing anything unhealthy yet. Spider mites are always my first enemy, and I just need to start throwing down newspaper and mulch over here. So so our pups like, what's going on? Easter parties. So it's Easter weekend basically. So was it April 16th, I believe? And yeah, over here, I mean, there's some holes in the leaves, so that tells me something's eating them, but it doesn't look like the worst offenders. But like my San Marzanos are looking pretty weak, but we'll see if they kick back up into gear. But this is dry almost. Like this may not be getting enough water over here, and everything else does. So like these were my only San Marzanos, and the other ones should be like Sun Sugar Cherries, Black Crims on mine, Garden Delight, and then a whole bunch of random varieties of my favorites, like more Sun Sugar Cherries, Small Red Cherry, Black Cherry, Super Sweet 100, Sun Sugar, and Lemon Boys, and some other variety. But otherwise, like peppers are doing okay over here. A little bit yellow, need to investigate. But otherwise, like there's still plenty to do, and like yeah, it's coming along, but I need to cover up this whole section with newspaper and mulch to make it kind of look like this. So that will take care of a lot of the worst offenders. And then like over here is just like rip up grass because it's made it inside of here. That's why I throw down the cardboard pathways, which takes a while to get this done, but it keeps weeds out of the central zone where water might flow, because this is designed kind of irrigation style. So there's a reason for it all, but it works. I need to go through my mulch pile and then get back to work. So anyways, that's the current state of the garden, and everything's doing pretty good. Zora's gonna be like, I don't care about your cardboard, there's a lizard or something. But anyways, so back to work.